Hey sophomores, how's it going? We're going to start right away with our context lecture, and we are talking about Chinese civilizations and Roman civilizations. Alright, so let's talk about our classical era, and we are still in the year 600 BCE to 600 CE. So this is the same time period as the American civilizations, the same time period as Greece and Persia, and even the same time period where there was Confucianism, Judaism, Hinduism, and other belief systems. So when you're writing the introduction to this paper and you're talking about the context, you can also explain that this was a time period where Greece and Persia were rising. This was a time period where American civilizations like Teotihuacan and the Moche were rising. You may start your intro like that, so you can write that down and you can talk about other civilizations of this time period like the ones I mentioned. You might even want to write it down with your groups right now. Alright, let's start off. So, the classical era is an era of growing empires that we talked about. Persia, Teotihuacan, the Moche, Maya. There are many growing empires, and China and Rome are among the growing empires in this time period. It's also a time where we're seeing expanding of boundaries, that there are empires that are getting bigger and getting much, much larger than have been seen in previous history. Oh, for example, over here we have the Qin dynasty had this border, and then after them in China, so the Qin was a dynasty that existed in China, and the Han came off. They were another family that ruled China, and they made it even larger. So we see that boundaries are expanding. Rome is another one. Rome starts right here. As a republic, it gets pretty much all the boot of Italy, but then as an empire, it takes over, completely surrounds the Mediterranean Sea, and they even say that the Mediterranean Sea was a Roman lake during this time period. So Rome and China expand their boundaries. This is also a time period of codifying laws. Codifying has the word like code in there, so codifying just means like making the laws and making sure that people follow them, that they're written down and they're followed. We will see laws written in Rome with the 12 tables, which will be followed, and a lot of Confucianism will be followed in China, along with this other thing called legalism that is even really used before Confucianism. So laws will be established like legalism, Confucianism in China, like the 12 tables in Rome, and we'll get to those in a little bit. We'll also see really powerful leaders. All right, so really powerful leaders, we see people like Julius Caesar and Augustus become very powerful in Rome as Rome eventually becomes an empire. And we see this one guy, Qin Shi Huangdi, makes these terracotta warriors you see over there. He's powerful enough to build all these terracotta warriors that eventually will be buried with him when he dies. Pretty amazing. Along with that, we will see increases in the military in both China and Rome as their military strength will allow them to expand their borders and even build up walls like this is part of the Great Wall of China in China. It's the western part, it's not the part we normally see. The Great Wall of China will continue to be built, but it will be started in this era. Rome too will build a wall, it will be called Hadrian's Wall, which will get built. And we'll talk more about that and the technology that comes up. But this is basically what we are looking at in this time period, our background, our context of what's going on. And remember to come back to this for our introduction of our paper. All right, talk to you guys soon. Probably around here, walking around, looking at you. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Wood, how's it going? All right, see you later.